Hey, welcome everybody. It is Sunday at 5 o'clock here on the East Coast, which are not our normal time, but we had to accommodate our special guest, Doug Drexler. So we obviously are very happy to do that for him.
I love the music.
You like that?
Yeah, the theme was fantastic. Where's it from?
It's an independent a composer that had some royalty free stuff.
Royalty free
or copyright. You can use it. So we've been using it since we've been doing this since 2020.
It's cool.
Yeah. It's cool and jazzy, and I like a lot of tiki stuff, so it has that kind of
vibe to it.
Exactly. So that's where I was going for. But so I've been talking about doing Defiance with Mary Beth for a while. She had never seen it. I saw it on its original run, and then I just rewatched it.
Tell me what you think. Because when Defiance came out, it was kind of like a black show. I don't think they knew how to market it at all. And I never really got any impression that there were many viewers for the show. I never had people ask me about Defiance. But I know that there was good stuff that was done, and that we did some good stuff too. It's kind of I just recently read that Mike Mann is doing a 4K new cut of Manhunter, which I was on in the beginning of my career. And that was a movie that just kind of came and went, and everyone saw it. And now they're looking back and they're thinking, wow, this is really one of Michael Mann's best, and so it's the same kind of thing. I'm sorry, blathering.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's fine. So I did see it for original run. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I watched all 3 seasons. I was kind of bummed they kind of left it on a cliffhanger. Yeah. I was really impressed with a lot of the visual effects that you guys did on that show. The whole art department did an amazing job of creating this sort of hybrid world.
They did a great job building all the ground stuff on the ground for the city, but there was a lot of set extensions and environments. It was interesting. I think we were really glad to be on it, and we found it really interesting. We were missing Galactica a little bit, that was right about the time we were doing Blood and Chrome, which that was something that should have gone somewhere. But it was a strange time at Syfy. They had a new group that come in, and they weren't really into science fiction. They really wanted roller derby.
It's the Syfy Channel, but they didn't really want science fiction.
I know, it never was that.
I was always wondering. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mary Beth.
No, I was gonna say I just wanted to say how impressed I was with how ambitious the show seemed. So ambitious. I was watching some launch. There's still like Comic-Con stuff on YouTube about when they launched. This launched as a game and a TV show at the same time. How did that work for you, Doug? Like, if you designed set stuff or was that then taken over into the game, or how did that work?
Well, I don't know how they were responding to what we did. I know that we always what they did and tried to base it on whatever they had in the game. I never played it.
No, I never did either.
So I don't really know.
I forgot about completely forgot about that aspect that they had a video game. That's right. That
it
kind
was
of launched
like
at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time. And not only that, is they were saying when they first launched, they said players in the game could affect the show. Because I watched a couple of Comic-Cons and all the actors were like, "Please don't kill us. Please don't kill us."
We don't like.
Yeah, it was really meant to be very, very, very interactive with players and viewers. I don't know if it fully lived up to what they wanted it to be, but it was so ambitious, so ambitious. When you just watch the show, it's incredible.
I agree that they didn't market it probably correctly. I don't know what would have worked.
But some of the characters, they were some terrific characters. I really found all of them really interesting.
Yes.
Um,
Lots of great female characters.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
and not necessarily people who always look like models. You know, when you get a show where everyone looks like they're models, and it just takes away from it. They had different faces, people who dramatically contrasted each other. I thought was brilliant. Well, I mean, it had good producers on that show who understood that kind of stuff. But I know Dorothy and I were watching it. We really got into the characters. At this point, I can't remember the names anymore. Who was that white-haired albino guy?
The white hair
Daytak
Daytak Star and Stamatar.
Yeah, I mean, those two were amazing. They were amazing. We loved watching them. And the lead guy with his, red-headed right hand, daughter, was another wonderful relationship. I really, as a relationship, I wouldn't have expected to work, but I found myself smiling a lot at them, and I thought that was really great.
I love the whole idea of it. It was kind of fresh in the sense that we had this, we always hear these, these Earth invasion stories and stuff, but here was like another whole race or series of races that were looking to terraform another planet.
And coexist.
Originally, I don't think there was some, I guess, well, if I remember in the storyline that some people, they knew that Earth was inhabited and somehow they sold it to the masses that Earth wasn't inhabited. I think there was some gray area on the storyline there. And of course, there was obviously a huge conflict because we were like, hey, we're already here. You can't come to it, stay at our place.
It was a very different show.
Yeah.
It sure as heck wasn't Star Trek or Battlestar Galactica. And getting to work with Gary was the best part of all the shows. Once we lost Gary, I didn't want to do visual effects anymore. I went back to the art department because of all the stuff I've done. And if you know me, I've been in a few different departments. The one place that really appealed to me to go back to, I never thought I'd go back to anything, was the art department. The art department has its fingers in everything. And so when I'm on the show, I may be there as a graphic artist, but I probably will end up doing conceptual illustration and planning things out. It's really the most exciting part.
So what was your specific role? I said you were a manager or computer graphic manager or something?
Yeah, CG supervisor.
CG supervisor, but I'm a creative guy who does shots just like everybody else. We had specialty people on the show that were graded for pyrotechnics, like Sean Jackson, Kyle Toucher, who was an incredible camera guy with wild ideas. So all of us contributed shots to the show, but on top of that, because my job gets the overall eye on where things were. Gary would trust me to know if things are not going the right way and what we should do to fix it. Gary was amazing. I loved working with him. So, see, that was one of the beautiful things about the show, was that if you were what Gary had set up in Galactica, if you were working with us in the visual effects department, you weren't just a guy who was given a shot list and you're supposed to do the shot and do it the way they tell you. The way Gary ran it was that everybody should take their best shot and do it the way they think they ought to do it. And you were really a part of the filmmaking process if you're working for Gary. Each one of us, we had a visual effects editor on the shows. And we can run our shot down to the visual effects editor who has the cut of the show and drop the shot in, whatever stage it's at, and tell whether it's working or not. You can't do that anywhere else. Only the immediate supervisor will take the shot and have a meeting and go in and see how it works. I can run down the hall, hand my shot over, sit down and watch it play. And if it doesn't work, I can run back to my desk and revise it. And usually at a big visual effects facility, you'd have to get them on your phone, then you'd have to explain what you wanted, and now they have to go away and think about how much it's going to cost. And before you know it, it's 24 hours have gone by, more even a couple of days sometimes, you're waiting. Gary didn't want to do Galactica that way. He wanted the writers to do whatever they wanted. He always told the writers that the sky's the limit. We'll figure out a way to do it. But if you do that with a facility, at first it's cost prohibitive. But did I veer off into the stratosphere there?
No, it's all good. And did I understand correctly that a number of people from a number of departments actually from Battlestar came to work on Defiance? Like it was a lot of folks from Battlestar on Defiance.
In our department, it was the same crew.
Same crew? Oh wow. So you guys all knew each other really well and kind of knew how you all worked together, and
we knew each other from Voyager at Foundation Imaging. That's where I met all of us. So when Gary brought me in, I wanted to bring all the guys that I had the most fun with. Gary didn't want to see them because they were real rebellious. But I knew that they were real sweethearts if you approached them the right way. And Gary would say, well, okay, but they're your responsibility. You're going to have to deal with them. And usually by the time people came in, and it was such a great working environment and fun that whatever hostilities ended up melting away and everyone just loved each other. And there was a lot of laughing. That's really important.
Good, yeah.
In a department, there's no laughing. I don't know.
Well, we try to laugh at the set tour, so.
This is true. Yeah, I think it shows, though. I mean, you guys did such, like I said, the visual effects on the show. So the writing was good too. I don't want to, just say
the writing was good,
but it was a good storyline, and like I said, it was to me it was fresh. We always talk about going back to the well, And,
what are we talking about? Defiance?
Defiance.
Oh, really? I mean, but
Defiance, both.
I mean, there was something about our writers. I'm pretty sure we're involved with Defiance.
Yeah. It was just fresh to me. You know what I'm saying? It was.
I thought it was too different. I thought that the average, they're not really just science fiction fans anymore. Now you've got people just like adventure films. Then you have the faction that loves science fiction and actually read it when they were growing up. Then you have the group that loves science fiction but have never read a science fiction book. I don't know why I said that.
No, I think I totally understand your point there. There's certain kind of people like I said, growing up, I was reading Arthur C. Clarke and Asimov and stuff like that, along with Star Trek novels and Lord of the Rings and all this other stuff. But you're right. I think later generations just watched movies or TV shows.
It's a big adventure. And the way films are shot are very explosive and exciting to watch, even if you don't follow the story. I've had people online who told me how much they hated John Carter, which I loved, and read the whole series, which was like 24 books, 4 times. And I thought they did an incredible job. And I had people on the internet telling me what a piece of garbage it was. And I'd say, did you ever read one? And I'm like, no. Okay, then shut up.
Yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of times, if you try to make the book into a movie, it's not Hollywood enough. It's not.
Yeah. That's John Carter of Mars. Yeah, that
Carter,
was.
They were talking about, hey, we have another guest, another special guest on the show.
Hang out with us.
43 years now.
Oh my God.
No.
That's awesome.
Yep. He's a devil.
They live quite even longer than that. That's not. I mean,
he could live to be 60, 70 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does he do with you out working late hours on the set and being alone?
Well, I mean, I was retired for about a year and a half. And then something happened that I couldn't say no.
You were retired for 5 minutes, and then you're.
Knowing seeing you can't sit still.
I'm such a lucky guy, because to have something come along that I can't say no to is a dream come true.
Yeah. Bruce is saying he misses his bird too. Bruce Playfair, I don't know if you remember him from the sets, but he used to have birds too. So he misses his bird. Bruce, can you type what bird you had?
thought you had a
He'll chat.
macaw.
He'll write it in a minute.
I would never tell anyone to have a parrot.
Oh,
But
really?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't looking for Bert, first of all. I almost consider him a rescue. He was in a little tiny cage in a hobby shop in North Carolina around Cape Fear area. And I just felt like he needed help, so I took him home. And the thing is that parrots are so dependent on you and connected to you. And not just anybody can take care of your parrot if you need to go someplace, because they can be quite cantankerous.
They're attached. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they can also. He's got this seated spring hatch he has on the front of his face. See it?
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't want to get bitten by that, and he will use that weapon if he needs to. Like if I'm not moving fast enough, bring him his weapons.
He let you know. Bruce said he had a blue and gold macaw.
I'm sorry for you.
Well,
I'm sure he ran your life.
Yeah. All pets do. We always talk. I have 2 dogs. Mary Beth has 2 dogs, and love them to death. But boy, they can be quite a bit of an anchor.
Hi,
They
Beaky.
take up a lot of your time. Hey,
Pretty.
Beaky.
We need to get you a perch right there so we can.
I don't have any
today.
crackers for
He's
you,
working
Bird.
again. He doesn't like it, but he's getting used to it. You know. Poor monkey.
Aw. So anyway,
Back to the show.
back to Defiance.
You're laughing. That was him laughing, not me.
Oh, really?
Right? He'll laugh again. Won't you? He's super smart.
Oh, he's so cute. He's so
That's awesome.
cute. He always makes an appearance
Love
every
animals.
time you come on.
It's like his thing.
You hear him?
Yeah.
Laughing again. Yucking it up. So what are we talking about? Defiance.
Defiance. So is there any like, I know people, it's kind of a standard, it's just a boilerplate question, but like, do you have any specific memories of that show that I know you entertain us many times with Star Trek anecdotes.
The one thing that really, there were all kinds of really interesting challenges on it, but there's one thing I really remember, that they wanted to have doctor's name, Dr.
Yule.
Dr. Yule. They had this thing where she was inside this like glass bubble, and all of these occupants are coming towards her, and she's doing kung fu and things into spots until the certain combination was correct. And they had no idea how they were going to do it. And Gary said, "I'm just going to have her dance and punch the air and stuff like that, and then it's going to be up to you." That was one of my shots. I did that whole thing. I had the footage, and the compositors, took out the background. So I could just tell it's weird to do it, but back then you needed compositors. And I just basically set up this sphere with the octagon-like shape that lit up with blank areas. And every time she did something or moved her hand or did a kung fu move or something, one of these came down and she did it, and would fly into its place. And it really turned out mysterious and cool, that was exciting. It was always exciting to do environments that were full CG as well. When we were doing it, and boy, I just watched the Galactica the other day. I'm like, oh my God, we did this like 15 years ago. If I do blow our own horn, these effects are unbelievable. They by today's standards, they're incredible.
Yeah.
And
Galactica was amazing. What you guys did with that show. I mean,
Galactica to this day is still
those shots, those space battles were amazing.
And it'll make you cry.
Yeah.
That's really important to have that. You need to laugh and cry and be scared and all those things. That's what makes something great. You don't have that, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
So I think it can make you well up. The original series used to do that to me. Some episodes actually now make me well up with tears, and never did when I was a kid. Like Metamorphosis, where they meet the companion. And I mean, now I watch that, I'm in tears. When I was young and watched it, it was just a great adventure thing. But the idea of you're seeing love that takes place between very divergent. I mean, it's really soft-hearted show. This thing falls in love with him. Then he learns to, the commissioner becomes the companion commissioner combined to save the life. It's just a wonderful show. I'm talking too much.
No, I mean, I can relate to that because I've been working on a short little video for the Galileo. They're doing a panel discussion in Vegas for the Galileo project, the whole. And I thought it was a great idea to do a little, 3-4 minute video, just kind of giving that history, kind of like what you did in your video. Like, here's where, the AMT built it, and then it, went in here and went there, and Adam bought it, and yada, yada. And I'm doing this stuff, and I'm putting in these pictures, and it was making me emotional watching this thing after I'm the one making it. You know what I'm saying? Within, the music in and everything, and you see that it's like, this. And those of you will get to see it until after Las Vegas. It's because it's going to air there, and Mary Beth's seen it. But it's just for people to want. And then I think they're going to do it as a Kickstarter bonus. Anybody who, so if you were in the paid, got in the Kickstarter, you'll get to see it first. Beside after Las Vegas.
There is us because it's the history of it.
Yeah.
Like the history of it just hits you. And
it's that, and and I have, like I said, I use some pictures. There's a picture of Michelle in there and stuff like that. And that anytime you see her, any of the cast that's not with us anymore, it does kind of make it.
Galileo showed its destiny better than any shuttle. I mean, I remember Michael Cleta had said to me, he asked me what the purpose of the shuttlecraft was, and I said, no, you can't use a transport. No. The purpose of a shuttlecraft is to get lost, to get our people lost. And that's what happened. I mean, it fell into a black. There were times when we didn't even know if it was in the same space-time continuum that we're in. And maybe it fell into a black hole for a while. Who knows?
Yeah. And it's interesting. I was talking to Adam Snyder, who was the one that bought it and restored it. And I kind of knew this. I'd heard this because, they had brought it to Georgia to work on it at a boat. It was like a boat house right near the water to rent it, to restore it. And then the hurricane, was it? I forget which hurricane was it, Sandy or
one of them? Yeah.
One of the big ones that went through Georgia, and it destroyed it again because it flooded that whole boat thing. So they had to start over again.
I hadn't heard that or I forgot it.
Yeah. So the thing is just, it perseveres, and
it's crazy.
It's and again, I always say thank God for AMT model company that built it like a tank.
Out of steel.
I mean, Doug, those nacelles are so heavy. 3 or 4 of us tried to pick them up and we couldn't budget.
Are those the actual nacelles?
They're the actual ones. They're built out of steel tube. And I always thought, they would have built them out of sonnet. If Desi Lou had built it, it would have been made out of sonotubes. And you know what I'm saying? It would not have been. These things are steel and fiberglass. And
well, you saw what happened with shuttlecraft on the show that came.
Yeah.
TNT had that little Hyundai.
Yeah.
That looked like, kids could have built it because they were cheap. Just flat sides.
Right.
When we got that shuttle from Star Trek V, and Rick took it and restyled it, looked like it went with the Enterprise D. Excuse me. It's that shuttle they gave to Scotty when Scotty was on.
Right.
It's a great looking movie budget. They got those early lines. Galactica was one where the Vipers and the Raptors, full size. Oh my God. It did not scare any of those things.
What happened? Do you know what happened to what happened to those models?
I heard
they got
that
auctioned.
It's still in storage somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. At least they didn't destroy them. I suppose there's that. There's somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody has them. Hopefully, taking care of them.
Well, there's still shuttle pods from Enterprise floating around.
Yeah, I saw them. I saw one had gone on auction, and my wife basically threatened divorce
much did they want?
If I even thought about, but it was went so far out of my price range so fast that wasn't really a consideration.
Do you know what they got for it?
It was quite a bit, more than tens of thousands. So, but I do have the little piece because I got the light that you had for your Kickstarter on there, the little click light.
Oh yeah, tap light.
So I have that. That's my little piece of enterprise.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah. So
Mike was really, brilliant once again. The way he got these little rubber squares that you put on the bottom of heavy things that go on a wooden surface like a tabletop.
Right.
They were just like little motors for the bottoms, and they're so thick. And so when you give it to the sign shop, they have number printed on all of them, and then use them to make buttons. Really,
yeah, I have a couple of reproduction panels that prop maker named Carl Mazur made. He did a whole run of Enterprise panels. I don't know if I can get it off the wall easily enough to show you. Probably not going to come off the wall easily.
We're selling some of our labels, and I ordered a couple of them because they were really great. And I sent him a note saying who I was and that I liked his labels. And he was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you. $12.95, please."
Yeah. Hey, he's got to make a buck, right? Even though you designed it.
So speaking of the Kickstarter of Trekstar, can you give us an update? Can you tell us what's going on?
Well, the documentary is like in super full swing, and Jason Smith and crew, who are seasoned pros, they're not just like wannabe,
That's what I got. That's what I got from the Kickstarter.
That's fantastic.
That's the Buckaroo Banzai stuff. Yeah.
Hold on one second. You had to do a good call.
Show it without the glare.
It's so dusty here. But yeah, I mean, the stuff that I did for Buckaroo Banzai, some of my favorite stuff. That was really fun. We so wanted that show to go in it. There was just too much baggage involved in the show.
To do this Kickstarter, you went through like a lifetime of work to find stuff for us. I couldn't believe like how much stuff you had.
There's so much more.
I just say, he probably only scratching the surface on what he had.
I look at it and I'm going, what the hell? When did I do all this? It's like a Deep Space Nine type manual. I read for that. When did I do all of that? Yeah, I love that sketch. And most of the things, like where it says, me always thinking with the arrow.
Yeah, me always thinking at the top.
That Dr. Ryder asked to be put on drawings. So that it really is what Lazaro would say.
You look suspiciously like John Lithgow.
That's a great one.
It says me, but it looks like John Lithgow.
That's a comment that Doc would have put on there. Yeah, I mean, those colleges would have been doing this.
Yeah.
It would have been amazing. I'm so sorry it never happened. It was right down our alley. And especially to do something that's science fiction but kind of wacky and tongue-in-cheek, like Buckaroo Banzai is. It's too much fun.
That's another movie I think that was, you talk about mismarketed and just people didn't know what to expect walking into the theater for that.
You know what? Another movie that was like that, that's one of my favorites, is a movie called Nothing But Trouble with Dan Aykroyd. And the movie's original title was Vulcanvania. It's in Pennsylvania somewhere where there's this like judge that runs a little tiny hamlet in Pennsylvania. And John Candy works for him and has a speech trap set up. And it's Dan Aykroyd in his like decrepit old age makeup. It's the craziest movie you ever saw. The studio went, what the hell is this? And they made him change the name from Vulcanvania to Nothing But Trouble. Typical studio interference. If you ever get
Right.
a chance, you should watch it. I'm telling you, it's crazy. One of Dan Aykroyd's best.
I don't think I've ever
Yeah,
seen
we'll
it.
check it out.
I'll have to look at that one. Yeah. So,
I don't believe you.
but yeah, it just, because remember, I did see Buckaroo Banzai in the theater back. What was it? 80? What year
Oh,
was
yeah, 80 something.
Something like
That's back when I used to go to see everything in the theater. It was like it was in the movie, so you went. You just went. I saw a lot of movies that I have no idea why I went and saw them, because it was something to do on a Saturday evening, night kind of thing. But yeah, I was one of those people going, "What am I watching?" I loved it. I didn't know why I liked it, but it was like
I loved it right off the bat.
Well, the first time we saw it, it was just in the background while I was working, doing makeup. And I knew it was wacky, it was weird, but it came across, because I wasn't paying attention, it came across as like really low budget and cheesy. But if you really watch it, you start to get it. So it wasn't until I met Mike and Denise, the huge Buckaroo Banzai fan, and she played it a lot in the department. And after a while, you just sing a song that you hear again and again. You anticipate the notes and the high points and low points, and you're all doing it together. Denise is sitting there while we're watching Jim Anthony's there, and the scene will come up that we all love, and we pay attention for a couple minutes. It becomes great. That's one of the things that we actually miss today, is that there's so much stuff on streaming that the odds of you having to watch the same thing as the work is really remote. It used to be that there were only 3 networks. So the odds were that most of the people in the office or wherever watching what we watched last night. And it would be like war talk and laughing about things that happened. We don't have that kind of shared experience anymore. I mean, the theater gives us, and that's why it's important to go to the theater. But honestly, I'd rather stay home. And that's, you get a big screen TV with a good sound system, it's just as good. It is. The theater is a whole different, the effect that the music has on you physically, because it sends out waves and waves of vibrations that you don't get from your own music. That's me expounding.
No, you're
absolutely right.
You're absolutely on point, because
we do not have a shared experience anymore.
I used to go to the theater a lot in the 80s and 90s, and we saw everything in the theater. And I wouldn't even say it was COVID. I would say somewhere in the 2000s. We had a kid, and you couldn't get out. You have a baby at home. You can't just go out. And, I think that, and then COVID just really put the nail in the coffin. I mean, I just, and I have, as an older person, I'm getting very intolerant of people in general.
You're less likely to put up with bullshit.
Yeah.
At a certain point.
I also don't have great theater. I mean, I have nice theaters, but they're not like what you guys probably have with these big.
Oh, you guys probably have awesome theaters in California.
Even where you are, Mary Beth. I just live in such a rural area.
Broadway shows here, that come through Pantages, and we go every so often. There's nothing like a Broadway show. Absolutely nothing like it. And anyone who doesn't go to a Broadway show is really missing out. I mean, there are people up there who are acting and singing their hearts out right in front of you, and they don't make a mistake. I mean, just think about that. You think you can do anything even close to that? There's a lot of passion involved, and it spills out off the stage onto the audience, and it becomes a very physical interaction, even though you're not on stage yourself. The fact that it's happening not in 3 dimensions, but in real life, right in front of you, the same air. That's and you just get away from how amazing it is. Somebody could sing and dance like that. 4 times a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes months at a time.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it really, really is. Chris is saying he loved seeing a movie with the crowd, nothing like it. And he's also saying he misses Broadway. That's Chris LaRoche saying hi to you tonight, Doug. There's a bunch of people in the chat all saying hi.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. A lot of these guys are from the that are watching are from the set tour.
From the set tour,
So
yeah.
you probably may have met them at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my daughter that's what she went to school for, musical theater, and that's what she desperately wants to somehow go to New York and not necessarily be on stage. She realized that's a very long, but at least be involved in the theater at some level. Maybe, work floor manager type thing,
You,
stage
you
manager.
should pursue your passions. That's what my memoir is about. It's about pursuing your passions.
Maybe I'll make her read it.
Yeah, you should.
There's some good.
I keep telling her, I'm like, you need to stop buying those $6 coffees and save your money because
That's when I started saving money. Is when I stopped buying $7 coffees. I mean, when you add it up, it's like, holy crap! I can take my whole family out to dinner.
You're not kidding. It's crazy. And I don't know what I always joke that generation. She's born in 2001. I said, your whole generation is going to be known as, they had like the World War II vets were the greatest generation. This one's going to be the thirstiest generation because they always got some kind of cup or a bottle of something in their hand.
Cell phone.
Yeah.
The last time I went back to New York City, which is where I'm from, it was startling because cell phones had not quite taken over the masses when I left. And when I came back for a visit, it was like these zombies with these little boxes pressed up against their head, talking and drinking a cup of coffee everywhere. And it just seemed like another planet. It is a science fiction episode.
Yeah, not well. They have done that. You've probably seen Black Mirror.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And those shows they've done things like that where they definitely hit, on modern social media, kind of taking over our lives, to the point where everything, your amount of likes. There was one episode, wasn't there, where the amount of likes you get was directly related to like your society.
Well, yeah, like people had to vote on you after they saw you.
Voting you down, like you couldn't get into restaurants and do things, and it was crazy.
Good stuff.
But they really kind of nailed it because it's almost, it's kind of course they take it and they make it, extreme, but in a lot of ways they were kind of on point with how people
it tells stories that are facting, but it can be irreverent and funny without quite being sitcom. Sometimes it's slightly sitcom, but it's Star Trek, but Star Trek is very serious. The Orville, Gordon could spill his, Pepsi free on you never see that on Federation Bridge.
No, I like that's one of the things that kind of makes Orville not, aside from the fact it is very next gen. It has the sense of humor in it that is kind of lightens it up a bit.
I love Orville.
But
I was telling him Mary Beth before we got it. One of the funniest episodes was when Bortus starts smoking. That was still to me one of my favorite episodes because it was I thought it was one of the funniest ones they ever did.
It was very funny.
There may have been the same episode. Twice in a Lifetime.
Maybe I can look up the names.
I don't know the names like I know Star Trek.
Where Gordon is in engineering and there's an explosion and he's gone. And then Isaac starts picking up a distress call from Gordon 200 years in the past.
I remember that episode.
I remember that episode. I don't know if that's the same one I'm smoking, but I do remember now you mentioned it. Yeah.
Well, that episode, and it was around the time I lost Dorothy, I cried. He goes to Earth, and after a year or so, he realizes no one's going to come for me. And there was that episode where he finds the girl's life in a cell phone that was an archaeological dig.
Right.
And he gets to know her and fall in love with her, but she's a hologram. Well, he finds her, and they fall in love and get married and have 2 kids.
I remember that. Yes.
Like a year later, Gordon is at work at like the San Diego airport or something, flying planes, and he sees Mercer and his XO walking across the field in their uniforms, or did they walk right up to him, and he's like, he can't believe it. And they said, we're here to bring you back. And he goes, bring me back. I come home and he takes them to his house and they meet the woman and they meet the kids. And they say, yeah, this is all great. And this is something Star Trek didn't do enough. They said, but you're guilty of a million, time
Temporal
travel
violations.
And you have to go back and fix the music for anything at a time. And he pulls out a weapon basically and says, I'll kill you first. And they said, okay, we're just going to have to leave and try to come back again, but come back a little earlier, which is what they did. And it was an episode that was so emotionally moving. There's another one that didn't get made for the third season because COVID hit, where the crew was actually going to go to Bulgaria or Romania to shoot. Incredible. Gene Roddenberry would have been so proud of that.
The thing that Orville did that I loved was they'd start an episode and you'd be watching and you'd think, oh, this is just like that Star Trek episode. But then they would take the plot and twist it and this is what could have happened. So, and then you're like, oh, that it takes off in a completely different direction. And you're like, oh, they were so clever in a lot of the episodes, the way they wrote, that it would at first seem familiar and then they would twist it on you. And it was great. It was so. I missed that show. I wish that show would come back. I really, really liked it.
They came from Star Trek. Andre Lamar was there. Brandon Braga was there. David Goodman was there. Who really knows Star Trek. And Seth is an irreverent comedian, really. And he's okay with that. I know Gene Roddenberry never read it. I always had read that he wasn't crazy about shows that were funny. I think it was Gene Coon who really brought in funny because he wrote sitcoms. He wrote Pirates of the Hills Navy.
I think. Well, you bring it in, humor. The Orville was kind of brought to us with it was going to have a humorous, knowing that.
Yeah.
I don't think, but we've talked about this, the newer Star Trek stuff and the humorous episodes that they're trying to shoehorn in, I don't feel are working, in my opinion.
I purposely never watched any of the new shows, so I didn't have to have an opinion.
That was wise.
I don't know. I haven't seen Discovery or anything since then. I went to the first movie and I tried to like it, but they were breaking so many rules that I couldn't take it anymore. It was really upsetting me. And I got up and left. I actually walked out of the movie. Dorothy looked out the window and stole my car drive out like an hour and a half after I left the car.
She said, "Oh, you didn't stay."
If you got upset with the 2009 JJ Trek, definitely do not watch any of the new stuff.
No, I'm not. I don't. Because, a lot of people say here's a fan thing you should watch, and I'm like, I can't watch any of them because I'm so opinionated after so many years, and it isn't fun. Thinking about why do we do that? That's crazy. Instead of getting into just watching the show.
But I get it because you created it. Like when it's part of your blood, sweat, and tears, it's so hard to watch it get, you know what I mean? Just watch it get completely ruined,
Well, I don't want to see that. So
yeah. We don't blame you. No, we don't like seeing it either. We weren't even there.
I just couldn't watch,
the Orville and the new Trek, except for Terry Matalas. Third season
of Picard, yeah.
Those shows, the rest of those shows don't have a visionary person. Now, I'm not saying that Seth MacFarlane is a visionary, but he is. He's a singer, a writer, and a producer, and a director, and successful animated shows on television. The guy is amazing. He really believes in the genre. And I think that there may be people who are interested in science fiction on the current Star Trek, but I don't think there's anyone who's a fanatic. You have to have you need a couple of fanatics. Terry was a fanatic. Dave Glass was a fanatic. Liz was a fanatic. Our president's been coming up helped fuel the fanatic fire on Picard season 3.
Yeah, it's harder and harder though to find younger. Like you say, Terry's young and Liz is young and Dave's fairly young, and but where you guys, you and Mike and Denise were such a core part of Star Trek, and what it looked like. Obviously the writers had wrote the stories, but yeah, I just don't. I don't. The visual, it's just
If you don't have
they're doing a beautiful job. Like you could tell it's well done, but it's not Star Trek to me. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't look right.
you have to understand Star Trek to Star Trek. I mean, of course, Gene always said you need to be a science fiction writer for Star Trek. But I just felt that we had a golden age on Trek. You had people who were, it was very important to keep the show. Well, it started with Gene. He wanted there to be a direct line for the original series. And he asked Mike and Denise to do the thing to help keep the writers on track. But after Gene was gone and after a few years, the writers saw the writer's guide as a hindrance, that they couldn't do certain things because it says right here that that was not possible, or this happened instead. And the new Star Treks don't worry about that. They do whatever they want. And there's a part of me that who was it reading? I don't think it was Christopher Nolan. Something about not giving the fans what they want. You should not be worrying about giving the fans what they want. They don't know what they want. Says you'll show them what they want. And there's a part of me that says, well, yeah, sure, I totally get that. And then I'm like, how come they're not giving us? Why am I mad they're not giving the Star Trek fans what they want? Whereas if on one hand they're saying you shouldn't be concerned there. So I can't be too upset with them making the show the way they think it should go. I just wish they should call it something else. Defining what Star Trek is also a very nebulous, difficult thing to define. Nobody really knows. Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah, one of the you've heard of the animated series they did, Lower Decks, right? Which was obviously all comedy. But they had. Do you know Dayton Ward, the author? He's written more Star Trek novels than tons of Star Trek novels. The guys, he does tons. So he's very knowledgeable on Star Trek because he's written a super nice guy, great books. They basically hired him as to keep the writers as a guardrail. So he would just read this, say, hey, you know what? This doesn't quite fit Star Trek, but if you change this to this, it will work. That kind of thing. And that's why I think Lower Decks works because
Lower Decks worked. It felt like Star Trek.
It's all Easter eggs for fans. They kept it within the guidelines of what Trek was. They didn't do some crazy.
They kept it in canon.
Yeah, they kept it within canon, and that was a lot to do to Dayton.
I watched the season. I loved it. It was really great. You can tell it had tremendous respect for what came before. That's what fans want. They want to feel respected. They love something, and then you throw it out. They invest money in blueprints and books and diagrams and histories and timelines, and then you throw it all out. You're really pissing off people who love memorizing when things happen and be able to spew that out and be correct. And then when you change it, it just totally rips the fabric of space.
Yeah.
Why they don't get that, I don't know. Well, what happens is they're figuring, well, we're going to give our way to do it our best shot. If it works out, great, we're genius. If it doesn't work out well, what can I tell you? We try. I can't get mad at anybody, really. Making a TV show is really difficult for so many parts, so many moving parts.
Yes, it is.
Which now you get 10 episodes a season, and you're lucky if they can produce another 10 episodes within a year.
Oh, they will.
So it when you're talking about, remember about people talking about shows around the water cooler, but how many times I watch a show, whatever, pick one, and you really like it, and then it's so long between the time that the next season comes out, you forgot what the heck happened in the first season.
They lost so many of the things that made television fun. If you knew if it was on every week, you became addicted to that next show. There was also something special about not being able to tape it and not being able to play it on demand. If you missed it, you missed it, and you went through the agony of missing it, and it was gone like smoke in the wind. And if you were lucky, they would rerun it, and that would be exciting. But it made it. There was no internet. It didn't have 24-hour celebrities, which is why that's why the Academy Awards doesn't do well in the ratings anymore. It's not because the show is pretty good. It's just that you got actors 24 hours a day on the internet. It used to be when the only time you saw actors without the Academy Awards. So you tuned in just for that. I mean, when we went to the Academy, I think there were like 69 million viewers or something. I mean, now they feel lucky if they get 3 million. You know? But having that, waiting for an episode, if you missed it, it's like hunting. If you missed it, you missed it. And you had 26 of them. And then you knew they were going to rerun it once, and if they started to pick it up, there would be new episodes in September that you would anticipate. And there was fall preview until I talked about this in my memoir. There was fall preview where all three networks brought out all their new shows the same week, and they battled it out. You know,
I remember that.
The new cars from Detroit also came out. So there were sexy new models of cars that they were advertising and pouring the money into, you know, sneak peek week. You know, it was really hypnotic.
You might be just a little too old to remember, but I remember the Saturday morning cartoon preview show on Friday night in the fall. They did a fall preview of what was going to be on the new seasons for Saturday morning.
Funny
so that was a 70s thing, mid 70s, and I remember as a kid, and I know people around my age were all like, "Oh my God, it's the Saturday morning preview show." Now, do they even still do Saturday morning TV cartoons and stuff for kids anymore? Probably not.
You watch everything on the internet.
You watch everything on the internet.
Yeah.
Different times, but I grew up in Southern Connecticut. We were lucky because we picked up most of the stuff out of New York. So we had more than just like, I know my wife will tell you, if she lived near Boston, so they had a few more, but some of these people, you had 2 channels, you know, you had maybe the ABC and PBS.
ABC, CBS, NBC were making money hand over fist.
Right.
They had so much money. They would take a chance on a show and commit to half season.
It's funny because back then, the original Battlestar was only 1 season. You know, we don't talk about 1980. You know, it's funny. I was saying to my wife, because I'm a big fan of that original one. I have my models and my helmets and stuff, whatever. And she's like, well, what was that? 2-3 seasons? I said, no, it only was the 78. It was 1 season of like 26, 27 episodes. And that was it. But yet we remember it like it felt like it now by today's standards, it felt like it was 3 seasons, which it would have been.
It's hard to know. Honestly, I tried. When I went to work, I was like, I'd seen it before, but I'm going to buy the season and watch it. I could barely get through the entire season. It was not good. There were a few episodes that were terrific.
Well, you were what? You were obviously an adult by then, right? I mean, when in 78, I mean,
yeah, in my 20s, early 20s.
Yeah, so I mean, I was 10.
Well, at 10,
so as a 10-year-old, I loved it because, again, I was a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like a big Star Wars fan. Of course, I loved the first movies. After that, I just was disinterested. You know, Star Trek always seemed to be trying to say something, and that really appealed. Out and out action adventure never really played. It didn't play like Star Trek did. Star Trek felt like it had a higher meaning, you know, a higher goal.
Yeah.
Some people hate that. I happen to like it.
I like it too.
I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying, is, you know, when you're 10 years old, you're sitting and you see Star Wars for the first time.
Oh yeah, of course.
It blew your brain. It was just a mind-blowing experience especially for that age kid. So I did like Star Trek before that. I didn't really come back to Star Trek till probably around Wrath of Khan, you know, as being a huge fan.
That
was a good one. Yeah.
There was a special period, like between the ages of 10 and 14 years old, that really imprints itself on you for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a magic period.
But I look at them as they're two separate, I have feet in both worlds, so to speak.
Yeah, you do.
I'm part of 501st, the costuming, so for that Star Wars. And
why do I love John Carter and not really care for Star Wars? Star Wars took so much from John Carter. It's very much the same kind of thing. One I love, the other one I'm annoyed at. For two reasons. One is John Carter, and the other one was that why is this getting all this attention when Star Trek isn't getting it? And that really annoyed me. I mean, I grew up military about Star Trek. So that pissed me off. I love the first two movies, don't get me wrong, they're really great, but it's like Indiana Jones. Has there been another good one since the first one? Not really. There was one really good movie. I say
well, the third one was really good.
Which one was that?
That was Last Crusade.
Yeah,
where he's going after the Cup of Christ, the Holy Grail.
Sean Connery was in it, right?
Yes, played his father.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another one. Indiana Jones was another one that was another one I loved.
First one's a perfect movie. You wouldn't change. Not afraid.
Yeah. So as we are kind of coming up on the hour here, and we do want to be respectful of Doug's time, Bill says he likes my hat. Guys, if you like my hat, can I recommend the book? Rizzo, do you have that book handy to show everyone? Which you can still get. Doug, can you tell us where we can get the book?
Amazon has it.
Look, it's got. I mean, I picked a bad page. But I mean, it's got.
There you go. It's got so many pictures.
There's a picture on almost every page. I mean, when I wrote the book, I didn't expect there to be any pictures. It's on the hardcover. And Jacob Brown said, "No, we want lots of pictures, and we want them all through the book."
Yeah.
And I had written the thing in kind of a vignette kind of way. And so the pictures will pull you through, and if they pull you in, you read the little vignette.
Yep.
And I think that people found it. You could open the book anywhere and read it. You don't have to read it from beginning to end. You can discover parts and then move around.
It is. You can get it. This is a hardcover. They have a soft cover, and I believe it's available on Kindle.
Yes, it is on Kindle.
Yeah,
it is.
So. And then really the hardcover, the reason I bought the hardcover was only a few dollars more than the soft cover. I'm like,
yeah, not much at all.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of it. I wrote a lot. I had a blog years ago called Drex Files, and then on Facebook, and people always reacted to when I told a story. And then when I love stories, it makes you look at life that it could just disappear at any time. I just knew that I had a lot of funny stories over the years. I wanted to write them in. It was fun doing it, and it gives you a look at your life that I never had before. It all used to be, disparate things that weren't connected, but now I see a beginning, middle, and an end. And I would say anybody, even if you don't think you have an interesting story, do it for yourself. I wrote it for me. I really did. It wasn't until I published a book, but I realized that I had a book here, and I knew Mark Cushman. I went to a couple of publishers, and I actually had a company that did mainstream books ready to publish it. But I just knew that in 2 years it would be off your list. But Jacob Brown does all the Cushman, voyages, and first season, third season, the 1950s. They will keep it in their catalog for as long as there is a company like that. And I knew they would listen to me. If I wanted to do something a certain way, they would make me change. Right?
Well, all right.
So, well, Doug, thank you so much for coming on the show, taking time. We so much appreciate it. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I hope I get to see you in Vegas. I'm sure I will, along with Mike.
Yeah, everyone who's going to Vegas, make sure to say hi to Doug.
Yeah, and me.
And Rizzo.
Find me. I'll be around. I'm around the whole day, all week.
One day, I am going to have a table.
Okay. Well, I will definitely find you. That's for sure. and again, I'm a big Enterprise fan, so that's just a big. I had actually mentioned you briefly. I met Scott Bakula last year, and I mentioned you and Mike and Denise, and talking about how you guys had that. We had talked about it before. How your progress of the Enterprise and how you guys had this whole kind of thing laid out in your head of how it should go, and that I really got it. And he actually really did appreciate that.
No, everyone did.
Yeah,
There are actually people who took the ship seriously.
yeah.
And we really did.
Yeah, he seemed like a genuinely nice man. So I was
He's
really
really
happy
nice.
to meet him. Yeah,
Everybody was nice. I was on a podcast with what's their names? Trip and forgive me. We're not on the air. What's his name?
Oh, Frakes and Spiner's
Frakes?
one, dropping
No,
names.
It was Trip.
They're
Oh, Dominic and yeah.
Dominic and Michelle
yeah.
got together for
Yeah.
They really were freezing. That wasn't a visual effect. They weren't acting miserable. They really were. But
That's
those
a great
guys-
episode.
Shuttle
Shuttlepod
Pod Show.
Yeah.
Shuttlepod
Shuttlepod
One
Show.
was the name of the episode. Yeah, Shuttlepod One
Which-
was the name of it.
The Shuttlepod Show should talk about our shuttle crap that we're having.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining us on Sunday. At our very
Thank you
special-
to everyone who tuned in on Sunday.
And we appreciate everybody that was here to watch this. And again, thank you, Doug, so much. We are actually off.
Your time tonight.
That's okay. Well, so we're not going to be on Wednesday, and we won't be on the following Wednesday because I'm going to be in Las Vegas. So we got 2 weeks.
2 weeks off.
All right. Well, thanks again, guys. I'll say live long and prosper. And as always, may the force be with you always. Good night.
Bye, guys.